So welcome everybody to the Australian Hypnosis Conference. Today I am here with Dr. Petra, and Dr. Petra is going to be talking about, now I've got to read this one out because it's quite long, From Myth to Mind, Harnessing the Power of Universal Archetypes for Therapeutic Transformation. What? Elaborate on that. Like, tell me what it's all about and where you started. Like, guide me.
Okay. I think I just wanted to make it sound a little bit more sophisticated, but it's quite a simple concept. So in my work, I work with the archetypes, which have been developed, originally by Carl Jung. And these archetypes are these universal patterns or images that are kind of present in our conscious as well as subconscious mind. So whenever we work with hypnosis, we work with the subconscious mind. So that's why these archetypes are quite relevant for this type of work.
I love Carl Jung's work, honestly.
Yeah. So I think that's how I kind of came across it. I have a background in psychology, so I was always exploring the different philosophies and theories about psychology. And so these archetypes, they're these kind of symbolic representations of different traits or characteristics that each person has within themselves.
Yeah.
And they're also kind of based on the polarity of the masculine or feminine within us as well. So I work a lot with women, some men as well, where we kind of identify what are these archetypes within us, or what do we need to develop for our own personal growth and development. So rather than just working with someone, let's say, on improving a self-esteem, we kind of identify what kind of archetype actually represents self-esteem or this kind of energy. And rather than working on this abstract concept of self-love as well, or self-esteem, we work with the client on really channeling almost that energy of that archetype that actually represents that assertiveness or that inner love or whatever they need to do on their own journey.
I love the archetypes, and I've read heaps of books and things like that with the archetype work, and I love that you're going to be presenting it at AHC. But what are they going to learn when they come and listen to your talk? Like, what are people going to learn and walk away with?
So we'll explore, of course, what these archetypes are, how they are represented within us, and also how we can use it in order to help clients to develop their potential, which is kind of linked to the parts therapy, how to identify the different persona within a client and how to use it in hypnosis, or, how to provide client a guidance in order to develop or kind of expedite their personal growth.
Yes.
And because when people do explore these subconscious or unconscious patterns, there's a great power of self-development.
Yes.
I remember we can influence each other's stage of life as well.
Oh, yes. I honestly believe there are trigger archetypes where there are just certain archetypes that trigger us. And there's certain archetypes that, like, I remember when I started discovering my archetypes, I was like, no, I'm not that. No. And it took me like 3 months, and all the patterns were there. But it was Trish just being stubborn because I was taught that, no, you're this. And I always would butt heads with it, and I'd feel exhausted doing it and stuff like that. And then when I started to look at my patterns, I was like, oh, God, I am. Okay. So,
yes. I will talk about these shadows as well, because each archetype holds its own shadow within themselves, and how to actually work with these shadows, how to identify them, how to integrate them within our personality as well, because these shadows are very important for our own personal development.
Absolutely. Because shadows remind us of things that we don't want in life. They're not a bad thing. Like, it's about embracing it and not letting it, like the dark side as such, devour us.
Yeah, and it's there to protect us. It's there to help us to draw our own boundaries. Like if we have too much light within us, then life kind of just happens to us. We're not kind of in that go-getter mode, or we let other people to mistreat us, for example, or go for codependent relationships and abusive relationships and things like that.
And also recognizing some of those archetypes. Like for me personally, when I started with the archetypes, I recognized an archetype that was in my ex, and I thought, wow, this is why this was never going to work.
Yes.
Holy moly. And I think just that light bulb in itself just led to this whole entire, like this house of cards falling down, that I thought was a mountain, and it wasn't really, and then, learning archetypes, like just watching people and looking at the archetypes and learning other people's archetypes. I'm like, oh, I know how to act now around when that person's in that archetype or in that shadow archetype as such. So yeah, it's very, very healthy. I cannot wait to see your talk, to listen to everything you've got to say. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So thank you everybody for joining in. This is Dr. Petra. She's right up there with her knowledge, and she will help you, and she's going to be there for the entire weekend. So if you want to talk to her about anything about feminine energies, masculine energies, archetypes, let her know, because she's right up there with the knowledge. All right, everybody, we'll see you all in the future. Bye-bye.